Hello and welcome back into our studio. I have been told that I need to, before we get into some Yankees, there's one pressing matter that I need to address, and that would be Mr. Carino's hoodie that he has on over here.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
This Chrome Hearts.
What about it?
I don't know. I've been told I need to do a check on it here, so let's just for the people, could you
Chris
give
Carino fit check.
Give us a little fit check.
I don't know. It just seems like jealousy bleeding through the production side of the studio, which it's not necessarily attractive on Griff Stevenson. Let's just say that. But I hear him talking. What is he saying?
He would like to know country of origin.
Country of origin, like the hoodie?
Like
he's saying is he
he's
referring
saying
to it not being real?
Yeah, he would like to see if it's
Griff.
He wants
authentic.
to know if that thing's from like Bangladesh.
Oh, man,
is that a DH Gate hoodie?
Let's see how far I go with this. Let's just say Griff. My dad's radio partner, Tim Capstraw, Griff. I know he's smiling and now not looking at me because he's embarrassed. Tim Capstraw, childhood friend. Growing up, they grew up in New York, in not the city, but New York. I don't know if you call it upstate. That seems a bit egregious. But one of his best friends growing up, Griff, let me see if this name rings a bell to you. Richard Stark. That's weird. He's the founder of Chrome Hearts. Oh, like he created the brand. Oh, so now the Capstraws get Chrome sent to their house. Right. And sometimes the Capstraw, especially Tim Capstraw, not in the fashion scene as maybe me and you are. So maybe some of that stuff maybe ends up at my house. Maybe my mom has one as well that she might also be wearing right now. I don't know what she's wearing necessarily. But all this to be said, the fake allegation to get the hoodie from the person who created the company seems a bit egregious. It's like if Griff had a company and then sent me a hoodie and then was like, hey, where was that?
Chris,
Griffin's
you've
calling
done
in right
something.
now. But I just want to say something for everyone listening on radio who may be hearing some weird noises. That is Chris Carino trying to steal his microphone and bring it through the glass into the booth.
Well, I'm trying to talk to Griffin behind me, and
okay, I just would like to preface.
And we've had a substitution in the production.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
I don't think it's inherently.
What are we talking about in this segment again?
Well, it's supposed to be Yankees, but I'm sure no one cares about that.
Nothing happened last night.
You guys are. I'm still gonna legit check the Yankees trade deadline here in a second. I'm just saying, the reason I posed the question is because it's like a go-yard bag where it's like. So many people have fake ones.
I had a go-yard wallet that I lost.
I think he's saying you're basic too.
No, definitely not. That's not that hoodie.
He's reading through the line. You're reading the right. You're reading under the right lines.
I learned how to read context.
No.
Barrett's reading in between the right.
No,
the correct
I just think
line.
it's a brand that's been tarnished. I would say it's been tarnished.
And we've had someone leave. We're
breaking all the mics in the studio right now. I don't know what's going on. Everyone's touching their mics. Something's going on.
I was gonna say that it's one of those things that because the fakers have it's been tarnished, but now since Chris has that amazing story, I think it weirdly backfired and made it like cooler.
It did seem to backfire a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, if Griff gets even closer, and we can get this on the mic, it actually
sparkling.
sparkles. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't really know if the fake. That'd be really hard to for a cheaper value. That'd be hard to make. I feel like
Tucker's now in the booth with a headset on. Yeah, that mic's not working. But
no, it's not.
We're trying a lot of things. We're doing like rolling subs here. We're just moving guys in and out for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on. It's chaos.
Well, let's just put
Mike
a cap.
also doesn't work there.
Let's put a cap on the fashion portion of the
I was gonna say
of the Yankees of the Yankee portion of this.
Third time's the charm, gentlemen.
We got a mic working.
Look at that.
Yeah, we're back in business.
Oh, wow.
All right.
So I finally don't have to sit in there with like a parrot on my shoulder.
Okay,
I felt like the mute pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Tucker, do you want to do like a WWE-esque tag in right now?
We are gonna need y'all to switch back.
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like one of the.
We can switch it back.
I'm like one of the Uso brothers right now. I'm just like waiting for the tap in.
Yeah, we can switch it back.
I think we should
Tucker, he
tap
just
now.
called himself an Uso brother. You need to get back in here.
I think we need to tap now and maybe talk about some actual sports on this sports show.
Yeah.
WWE
And just to
is
put
an actual sport.
Just put a wrap on that whole conversation. Tim Capstraw family, love you very much. An heirloom of my life was given to me by them, and I appreciate it. And just to wrap on that conversation. Also, to give you a segue, Barrett, spent a lot of money on Yankee fashion, Yankee merchandise in Cooperstown over the weekend, and I had it on last night, and it didn't really do much. The bullpen still collapsed, even though I had 3 Yankee-fitted hats next to me, unfortunately.
Speaking of said bullpen,
Thank you.
Recently the trade deadline just happened, and lots of moves were made to bolster that bullpen.
I thought it was. Isn't it supposed to be one of the best ones ever?
That is what people were saying.
And it still could be.
Jake Bird from the Rockies.
Clearly, just because you have 4 closers in the bullpen doesn't make it the best bullpen ever.
Who would have guessed that
We
4
might
guys?
be speaking a little too soon.
Who would have guessed that just throwing dudes in who are used to closing in random situations wouldn't go so well?
I just don't like. I think the Yankee fans really need to pump the brakes on this one.
And
It's like DEFCON 2 in Yankee social media right now. And it doesn't need to be. It is the first game since the deadline. Like, it didn't go well. Like, boo-hoo, there's 2 months left in the season for these guys to figure it out. And it's not like they're going to play like this for the entire rest of the season.
Yeah, so just so everyone listening knows, Jake Bird was acquired from the Rockies. He pitched last night. Didn't go well. David Bednar, 2-time All-Star closer, had a very poor season last year, but has rebounded very well. Was acquired from the Pirates. Pitched last night. Went very poorly. And then Camilo Doval, who has, been one of the more talked about closers in recent years because of, his pitch arsenal. Pitched last night. Did not go well either. In addition to those, they made a trade for Ryan McMahon a couple days ago. That actually has been a very good trade since he's come over.
McMahon's been awesome.
McMahon has been great.
You think Boone feels a certain way about seeing a third baseman wear 19 like that? He's just like, oh, that was me.
Maybe.
He just like it
every
for
time
real.
he gets up, every time he gets up, I just look. I'm like, I wonder what Boone's thinking.
That hadn't crossed my mind.
I think it every time he gets up to plate. I don't
to be
know.
honest, I don't really feel like managers that often or their feelings. But
right. And also, let me before you set the rest of the scene, I have a point that doesn't involve in this, but I want to get out quickly. Especially the first couple, the 4 guys or 5 guys first game last night with the Yankees, but all the guys they've gotten in the deadline, even going back to Ryan. That was so cool last night. This is more of a positive point because everything was really negative last night. Aside from maybe saying that people are being
the first 6 innings, but yeah.
But let me just say one of the positives overarching last night. One of the positive themes of last night. Let me rather say that is Yankees. These all players, specifically where you said Pittsburgh, Colorado, coming from places where first of all they're not competitive. They're not competing to go win a championship, let alone compete to maybe even make the playoffs. And that Yankee crowd last night, the amount of Yankee fans in that stadium last night was jarring, like seriously jarring. When Volpe hit the home run, it was loud. And so my point, and I'll wrap it quickly here, is that all these guys, the feeling I had at home was like these guys must think this is so cool that they come from these places, whether it's Rockies, Pittsburgh, or maybe away fans aren't as prevalent or even nearly as prevalent, and they immediately, first game with the Yankees, walk into basically a Yankee home game in Miami with this exciting game, with these ups and downs. Yankee fans given multiple opportunities to lose their minds last night. I found that part and that kind of point of view, that perspective from the new Yankees to be very interesting last night because it almost adequated them with the Yankee Nation, Yankee fandom right away, really quickly, and it let them know almost right away that being a Yankee is something special. Being a Yankee is something that is really important, and I think the value of the situation might have also kind of hurt them later. Maybe some nerves kind of coming through toward the end, especially with the guys from the bullpen.
Yeah, and that is a great point. Very an interesting thought that a lot of people don't necessarily, you look at the player and you think only the player value, but there is also a lot of mental sides, mental aspects of, getting traded midseason, especially from a team that, is so far out of it into a team that is in the heart of a pennant race, of a division race.
Last night the Rockies were so far out of it and they won the game.
Yeah.
That was
his
former team.
Things like that happen, but
yes.
In addition to the
other things that happened.
in addition to the pitchers and Ryan McMahon, also acquired were Ahmed Rosario and Jose Caballero.
Yeah,
I think it's Caballero.
I'm with you on that. I'm not 100% on it either, but silky guy. Silky except for the end, obviously.
Yeah, well that's not nice, but super speedster.
Jumping the gun.
Also, Austin Slater was acquired. He's probably just a pinch hitter.
But another one of those guys from a team that is just completely non-competitive who suddenly is battling for the pennant with the Yankees.
Yes.
He came from the White Sox, which I think goes without saying.
I think the Yankees did a very good job of capitalizing on teams just kind of in the midst of a fire sale, and they didn't give up a whole lot, but I feel like they got quite a good return. I feel like I personally am a big fan of their deadline. I know yesterday it didn't look great, but I think they made all the right moves that are hopefully going to pay off to put them over the hump. They also offloaded Carlos Carrasco and Oswald Peraza. and kind of smaller moves that really won't have any repercussions. I feel like it was just kind of we need to get these guys off the roster somehow.
Carrasco, I feel like Cookie's been gone for a little bit longer. Didn't they DFA Cookie like
They might have DFA'd him
a while
but
ago?
They traded him to Atlanta for cash.
Oh,
so.
okay, yeah.
But he may have been waived or something, or
Yeah,
DFA'd,
it's something
and
like that, but he
part of
was
the
just
DFA.
not. I don't think he was playing.
Yeah, he was traded for cash at 527.
Stroman also gets a straight boot.
Yeah, Stroman. Yeah, a lot of moves were made by the Yankees at the deadline. A lot of it centering around that pitching staff to bolster it, to get it into a position where they are very happy going into the playoffs and also down the stretch. Did not work out so well last night, but as I mentioned, they
also
in,
didn't bolster the pitching staff. The pitching staff got better by subtraction with Stroman being gone, but they didn't necessarily get anybody else. The bullpen they added in surplus, but I feel like from a starting pitching perspective, they're almost relying on we have a lot of injuries right now, and hopefully it'll all work out kind of thing.
That is true, but as I was talking with Tucker before the show, it does look like Luis Gil is slotted to start tomorrow.
He's
finally back.
If he can be really good, it's there's no problem.
If he is in fact back tomorrow, I think that is a huge let off.
They
for
activated
the
him
staff.
with the other roster moves. They activated Gil back to the main roster.
They'd like to see Rookie of the Year Gil out there, but I don't even think they need Rookie of the Year
I think
Gil.
if you get an average major league starter from Luis Gil, I think you're
because he can just pull in post injury. He could pull into the 4.
Yeah, if Luis Gil is your number 4 starter, I think you're very happy.
That's not bad,
especially with whatever you get out of Schlittler, whatever you get.
Playoff series, I'm okay with that.
Probably the best 4th starter.
Schlittler is probably the first to get bounced from the rotation and stay in the bullpen. But now that the bullpen is so full, I don't really know how much of a reality that is anymore. It was kind of like Stroman getting bumped into the bullpen was a symptom of the Yankees not having that many bullpen arms, so they had to use starters who they didn't want to use in the rotation.
I also think
now the bullpen is bursting at the seams.
If Stroman was less reluctant initially with the bullpen, I think that's where he'd be right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because they didn't want to use him as a starter, but he forced the objective, and now he's not on the team anymore. So how'd that work out?
Let his ego get in the way.
That was what was weird too. Was that Stroman's last start wasn't even that bad. I was covering the game, and the Yankees wound up.
No, his last start was 2 days ago.
Yeah, and they wound up winning.
You were there too?
Yeah.
Thought I was there.
Wait, I did Monday, Thursday.
I thought he pitched on Wednesday.
He pitched Monday. I thought.
Did he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
These guys go to so many games, they all blend together.
I know, and it's true. It really is
wow.
true.
I'm pretty sure I was there for Stroman.
Struggle of being a Yankees
I'm not even saying it from the
or did he pitch Thursday?
I'm not even saying it from the perspective that you're wrong.
He did pitch Thursday. He pitched in the rain delay game.
Yeah.
So Stroman pitched on Thursday, and actually pitched pretty well for 3 innings.
Right.
Then if you don't look at the 4th, his start is pretty solid.
You didn't work on Thursday. I worked on Thursday.
No, Chris.
Or I worked Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes. See, I'm not even I know it comes all the I'm just trying to prove it, but I really think I was I literally thought I worked on Thursday.
Yeah.
My bad.
Because you're there anyway.
No, I know.
For the
I
Yes
know.
internship,
And
you're
Warren,
always there.
And Warren pitched a very good outing when I was there on Wednesday. 1 run, 6 innings. Warren, another guy who I have a lot of confidence in.
Oh,
in October.
very high on Warren.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. It sucks.
October, I got to see it, but
and
from what I've seen so far this year, I'm pretty impressed. Even in the starts where he gets pieced up a little bit, he still is pretty good at recovering and still making competitive pitches post a mistake. After giving up a 2 or 3 run home run, he can still attack the zone, which is good to see out of a young guy. He's confident.
And this sounds dumb. I know it sounds dumb.
Let's hear it.
I'll just say it. If he's healthy, or not him. If Clark Schmidt, that injury doesn't happen, I'm so much more inclined to be this team's gonna win the World Series.
I'm definitely higher on the team.
But
if Clark Schmidt's around,
so it sounds goofy to be Clark Schmidt is he's a World Series
the missing
player,
link,
but he kind of is. If you think about how good he was,
at least
how dependable he could be, and the rotation is the Achilles heel of this team for all intents and purposes. You even look, and this is where I'd like to ask your opinion, Barrett. I feel like the offense of this Yankee team, through moves where it stands right now, is it's a good 1 through 9. It's a very strong, maybe the strongest lineup of Yankees I've seen in half a decade.
I think genuinely one of the most underrated moves at the deadline is not even necessarily the acquisition of Ryan McMahon. It's the ability of Jazz to consistently play second base, where he's been his bat is significantly more impactful as a second baseman.
And mental, just knowing you're playing there every day is so important.
Jazz being able to show up every day to the ballpark and know he's going to play second base, be able to bring his offensive his caliber of offense as a second baseman versus a third baseman. And if Ryan McMahon can be even half of what he's been since he's been acquired, I think you're ecstatic with that move.
Still waiting on a home run, oddly enough.
Yeah, it's true. He's
Very weird. But he has a walk-off. He has several RBIs. He's hit doubles. I don't think he has a triple yet, but he's still been hitting the ball pretty well, like multi-hit games. He's still without a bomb.
He could have half the OPS he's had since he's gotten
if
back.
he's a league
as long
average
as he's
hitter,
good defensively, it doesn't really matter.
If he's a league average
Yeah.
hitter and he does what he's done on defense his entire career, I think, and just the ability to allow Jazz to play second base is so huge, because it's very underrated being able to play a familiar position every day,
Right.
and not even necessarily like your natural position. Like when Jazz was with the Marlins and they had him playing center field every day, he at least knew he was coming and playing center field every day.
Right, and that is a tough position, but if you
Mhm.
have the consistency, I think mentally it definitely helps. Also, I'd like to touch on this briefly because I don't think it ever gets touched on. Maybe the most bizarre situation in the last couple of years with the Yankees to me, and especially because it hasn't been talked about as much, is I feel like the Oswald Peraza situation is so freaking bizarre.
I think it was handled very poorly.
Poorly, yes, but also like a guy's had so much opportunity to just find his way into that lineup. Like third base is his. Third base had his name on it for literally 2 years basally, and the guy just couldn't get it together.
All he had to do was string a couple hits together, and
Right.
it would have been his.
Right. I mean, even shortstop Volpe had he had such a decline. It felt like if Peraza played really well, that could have been a conversation. Maybe he didn't take his job, but it would have been a conversation. But he really only guy I looked just doing prep for the show. I was looking at the Yankee team's WAR. Only guy on the team with a negative WAR. Like that is
He was
bizarre.
He was poor, like bad.
And
honestly,
I just don't. It's just a guy who just seems to constantly shoot himself in the foot. Maybe a change of scenery would help, but it just felt like. It's so frustrating because if he just worked, it felt like everything did, and it felt like all the puzzle pieces fit. But without him, he kind of ruined the whole picture. I felt
Yeah,
like.
at some point you have to wonder how much the Yankees system is to blame for it, because
Right.
I don't know. I feel kind of bad like just blaming Peraza for being the only guy on the team with negative WAR.
But
and
Lombard, Spencer,
getting
and
dealt.
Dominguez are kind of they're examples to the contrary. I feel like
yeah, well, Dominguez.
he was bad in Double-A last year. Better numbers in the MLB than he does in Double-A.
Start of this season, I was down on Dominguez. I did not think his hitting was going to come around, and his defense was extremely questionable.
Right.
In the outfield, to say the least. But I gotta say, I'm really impressed with his ability to put his head down, go to work, and make himself into a better baseball player as the season has progressed. He's become a better hitter.
He rakes.
Already being a switch hitter gives him an advantage. The Yankees want him in the lineup because it doesn't matter who's
They need
pitching.
switch hitters, yeah.
But then watching him work on defense too, he really figured out that close to the wall fly ball.
Right.
That was if you hit a ball near the wall in left field in April, it's hitting the ground.
Which
Dominguez is not catching that baseball. He's going to overrun it, or it's going off his glove. And I mean, it happened again last night with that ball near the wall.
he caught one off the wall on Wednesday too. It's just a run scored on a tag.
Well,
unfortunately.
there was that
He
one.
doesn't have an arm.
Yeah, there was that one on Wednesday. Similar thing happened on Thursday, I think, no, it wasn't Thursday. It was that Wednesday game where he kind of fell. It was bases loaded, sac fly. I think he caught it and fell a little bit.
Yeah.
But in last night's game, Kyle Stowers hit a grand slam that went off of his glove and over the wall. I couldn't really tell from the trajectory. It didn't look like it changed that much, so I think it would have been out either way.
Yeah.
But on initial glance, it kind of looked like Dominguez may have helped it over the wall. But again, I'm not you can't strike him for that. He was trying to catch the baseball. But he's gotten much better at those plays near the wall where he's putting his hand out, tracking close to the warning track, and trying to focus on making the catch before hitting the wall. He's gotten way better on defense. And like you said, the hitting has come around. So for Dominguez, in a season where I wanted him either off the team or back in AAA in May, it speaks volumes that now I'm cool with him being in the lineup in the postseason.
Yeah, and speaking of Dominguez and how he's kind of, I mean, he's not a guy where you can't justify not having him in the lineup every day. But with Judge will be back soon-ish. We're not sure.
Actually, I think Tuesday or Wednesday against the Rangers.
Yeah, I think that's what I read as was game 1 of the Rangers series is when they wanted him back.
But is he gonna?
We're not sure what that's gonna look like. So
yeah,
we'll
we'll
Stanton
see.
and Judge gonna have to compete for the DH position.
That's the issue, is because Stanton has been.
Is it a competition?
No, but
I mean,
then
it's not because Stanton is out.
It's
if
clearly
Judge.
Judge.
If Judge
no, but
has
that's like being
DH,
like
Stanton can't
oh
play.
well, we have Judge and Belly for center field, and like, is that a competition? Like, no, it's not. Judge would win it, but does that mean I don't want to play Belly? No, you know what I mean. It's the same thing.
If
Same
we're
argument.
talking about center
I
field,
want to keep Stanton in the lineup.
Belly wins center field.
No, he doesn't. If you're saying
Straight up.
If you're saying we could play one of these guys tonight,
Oh, play one, sit the
'cause
other.
that's the argument we're
yeah,
having with DH.
I guess it would. Yeah,
But you
then it
wouldn't
would
want
be
to take
Judge.
Belly out of the lineup. That's my point.
Yeah.
Same thing with Stanton. You want, especially in October, you want to take Stanton out of
True.
the lineup
And
in October.
Come on. Stanton is pretty. I wouldn't say
he's mythical in October.
I wouldn't say he's hot right now, but it's a good thing because he's been hot and cold his
He's
whole
been
Yankee
good
career.
recently. He's not been bad. Like,
Exactly.
He's been good.
Yeah.
He's got an OPS over like 860 right
Yeah.
now. Like he's not
hot and cold his
he's
whole
not
Yankee
a guy
career.
you can take out of the lineup.
He's
but-
rehabbing.
last-
He's playing in a rehab.
Last
basically.
postseason, he played insane,
Yeah.
and it's now carried over into this season where, like, when he came back finally from injury, he's basically played a full season of really consistent, good baseball
we're
as a
finally-
straight hitter.
It's funny to say, but I think we're finally seeing the Giancarlo Stanton that the Yankees traded
This
for.
this is the
This is
the
what
guy.
they traded for, and I think what 5-6 years into his Yankees career, we're
A lot of
finally seeing
injuries,
it.
just
Lot
like
of
a lot of
injuries.
injuries, and trying to I shouldn't say trying to force him, but like trying to get him to play the outfield for that long, I think was probably a mistake, and is probably the reason why his wheels went away as fast as they did. He could still be running the bases today if he goes to DH like a year after he comes to the Yankees, but that's not what the Yankees wanted out of him. He was an
Yeah.
outfielder when they traded for him, and so he will be an outfielder until he can't.
And so, yeah, I mean, but back to my original point with bringing up Judge, because obviously Judge
Yeah.
is going to be in the lineup. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like. I think they're pretty hopeful that he'll be able to play at least some outfield, and he won't be a full-time DH when he comes back. But they also just traded for a lot of outfielders. You know, Austin Slater. Ryan McMahon's going to be in the lineup every day, but Austin Slater's an outfielder. Jose Caballero, we saw play in the outfield yesterday. You know, shortstop, natural shortstop. Ahmed Rosario has also played some outfield in his career.
That guy is just here for the ride.
Yeah,
Ahmed Rosario has been so funny since he came to the Yankees. He got into one game as a pinch hitter. I think it was the game I worked on Thursday. After the rain delay, he pinch hits a random single. He's
Mhm.
now one away from 1,000 hits, by the way.
Wow. Who?
Ahmed Rosario.
From 1,000?
He's at 999 as of the hit that I saw
For
on
a second,
Thursday.
I thought you said 3,000. I was
No,
like, what?
No, he's one away from 1,000 career hits. But I mean, milestone is a milestone. But Ahmed Rosario is literally like he hasn't gotten in a game since that at bat,
Yeah.
and he's been the first guy out of the dugout when the Yankees do anything. And like Anthony Volpe hits a game-tying home run last night. Ahmed Rosario is running up and down the dugout in like on the warning track, going insane.
Yeah, but to that point of him just being along for the ride, with him just being acquired, I feel like it's unlikely he gets, sent down with Judge coming up. Or with Judge being reactivated, what is the corresponding move? I know we talked a little bit about it before the show, potentially being another pitcher. The Yankees just loaded up their bullpen, so maybe they can afford, especially with Heel coming back and Schlittler potentially moving to the bullpen. You maybe have a little bit more length in the bullpen. So is a pitcher going down the corresponding move for Judge being reactivated, or do you send down one of the guys you just traded for? I think it'll be interesting to see as we
Ooh.
approach that Rangers
Actually,
series.
that will be interesting because if the Yankees want to keep their like lefty-righty balance
Yep.
in the bullpen, they probably want to. It's interesting. They
I-
probably want to get rid of a right-hander, keep
Because-
as many lefties as you can.
I think the only thing is like who gets sent down from the bats if it is in fact a
Oh
bat.
yeah,
because
that's like
there's so much depth in the outfield now that there's probably 4 to 5 guys. If Judge is able to play the outfield, there's probably 4 or 5 guys you want to be able to get in consistent reps in the outfield.
I mean, there's nobody you send down,
Exactly.
at least from the list.
The guy you would think would be either Ahmed Rosario or Austin Slater or even Jose Caballero. But again, you just
Yeah.
acquired them, and so it's to an extent, it's like you can't really send them down.
I'd say like give it like a week or two before they start like really moving guys. Obviously, when Judge comes back, they're gonna have to move somebody immediately.
I think it'll
but
probably be a pitcher that goes down in the short run.
Because they'll be like
I
for the
think
rest of the year they'll be pulling
it'll be
somebody
more
up
of a
and sending
fluid-
somebody down.
It'll be more of a fluid bullpen situation, I think, because I think also this deep into the season with Judge carrying a bit of an injury, it definitely doesn't hurt to have an extra bat on the bench. especially like
I think that was the logic they went into the deadline with. I'm sure.
And having guys like Ahmed Rosario and Jose Caballero who can play infield and outfield, it gives you a little bit more flexibility in not feeling so pigeonholed with those 5 guys on the bench and them all being outfielders or them all being infielders.
Caballero also very speedy, so should come in handy.
He was probably I would say the main reasoning behind his acquisition was to have a guy who can pinch run, especially when you have a guy like Giancarlo Stanton in the playoffs who you don't want him on the bases late in game. And so I think that's probably where we'll see most of Caballero's appearances come, is as a pinch runner in the postseason for Giancarlo Stanton. But otherwise, I think the biggest question mark is just going to be what does Judge's position look like for the rest of the season would probably be the only question mark left on this team. And I feel like there's a little bit of maybe lack of transparency in what exactly the injury was and how severe it is. Because, we heard he was going to go get some x-rays and maybe get a second opinion. But, you two are a little bit more tuned into, what's going on in Yankees land. But I personally have not heard a whole lot on it since it happened.
No, it was really just
it's always like that with
day
Judge,
of.
it feels
Yeah.
Like. It always feels like it's a bit quiet
Like-
around his injuries and things of that nature.
With the toe a couple years ago.
Yeah, and even day of, they pulled him from the lineup and just said he was getting imaging. They didn't even say what it was going to be until after they got the imaging done, and then they were like, "Oh no, we were actually looking at maybe UCL." And people were like, "Oh my God, Tommy John, it's over," and spun that in the news for a week until they were like, "No surgery." He's
Yeah, the
fine.
Tommy John
10
storyline
days.
was they took the Tommy John storyline and ran with it, and it's like
Because why wouldn't you? It's like the same thing as Justin Fields dislocating his toe, but Justin Fields carted off was in the news for 2 days.
It's you're in the New York media, it's the biggest star in New York sports. You got to be a little bit more you can't just float things out there and let the news cycle take off with it, because you're going to end up with that and you're going to have to come back.
Yeah,
later
and that's probably why they played it so close to the chest
Yeah.
too, because just to have people run with as little as possible effectively. But I mean, we're seeing clips of him taking BP in Miami. He's with the team and he's doing baseball things. So
I think he'll be fine. It's just I just
haven't seen him throw yet.
He's not going to play right field every day, no matter what. I don't think so. You're probably looking at least 1, maybe 2 days a week where he has to DH just to, because he avoided
even just
surgery.
for long-term safety.
But just for
I would
safety,
just think
if
about maybe just for a month. Think
Yeah,
about giving him send him back out and right in September if he feels good.
the
but
only issue
if
with that is
you
you
get-
have to find a way to play Stanton, because Stanton can't sit for a month, and Judge needs to play every day. Especially Stanton just can't sit for a month. So I don't think he's ever played first base in his life.
So I guess Stanton's days off are just days when Judge DHs, but those happen more often now, theoretically.
Yep, and then you completely remove Ben Rice from the DH.
But
They're gonna
He's
ask-
competing in the first base and the catcher
They might-
competition. So I mean, his DH, I feel like that's almost like his third role.
Are they going to ask Stanton to play the outfield?
There's no
No,
chance.
There's
I
no
mean,
way.
If this was 3 years ago, maybe, but Stanton,
No.
he literally
He was
can't move.
practicing out there, but it's like it'd be so irresponsible to put him out there. It just would be.
But he's been out there
they've done it, yeah,
this year
yeah.
in the past week.
Which, to be fair, I was like, the weirdest thing I've ever seen them practice pregame was Goldschmidt at second base, and I was like, oh, they were just doing that for fun. But then I was watching one. I don't know if they were on the road or at home, but then they brought a fifth infielder
Oh,
down,
yeah.
and Goldschmidt played
moves over
second
to the
base,
middle.
and I was like, oh, I was like, whoa. But I don't know. I mean,
You're the Leo DiCaprio pointing meme.
yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked if they put out a fourth outfielder or something in its Stanton. There's a reason they're practicing it, is what I'm saying. But it would just be so irresponsible to put him out there for a team that's trying to get outs, things like that.
Yeah, that is true. But overall, just quickly wrap up this Yankees segment. Thoughts on the trade deadline, and then thoughts on, I guess, what this next month is going to look like, because I think this is a big opportunity for the Yankees to make up some lost ground. They're back. They're, I believe, 3.5 back of the Blue Jays right now, but they only have 2 series in August against teams over 500, which is a massive opportunity to take back some of those games and go into September, with if not with a division lead, within a game, half a game of the division lead. And so, I personally think they did enough at the deadline to win the division. The Blue Jays did, not maybe as much. That maybe they were a little bit more set with their roster. They obviously made the one big move, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I like where the Yankees are at right now.
Yeah, I would agree. The only thing is, I just don't know if I think the moves can win them the division, because now like the Yankees have been set pretty much in the same spot behind the Blue Jays now for the better part of like a month, and maybe that's a good thing because the Yankees went on an awful skid, and just had a really, really poor June and July, but. I mean, 3.5 games doesn't seem like that big of a gap, but if the Blue Jays continue to play the way that they are currently and have been all year, just like pretty consistent, not falling too far behind or into too big of holes when they do start losing, I don't know if the Yankees can get back into the division. It'll be like, I think I said it like a couple of one-on-ones ago, but the Yankees play the Blue Jays. They have one more series. I think is it this month? It might be in August. But they have one more 3-game set with the Toronto Blue Jays, and that's really going to be the deciding series, I think, because either both teams are going to be coming in looking for a sweep. They're both going to want to like put the foot on the gas. The Blue Jays want to open up the gap and solidify the division. The Yankees want to get back, like fully back in.
That's the first week of September.
First week of September.
Yep.
So that's huge. Like you open the final month of the season with that series, the top of the AL East. And the lead can either shrink to nothing, or it could grow to something that the Yankees can't come back from.
And then to close the season as well, they have the Twins, the Orioles, the White Sox, and then the Orioles again.
Yeah.
So if they
and the Orioles the thing is the Orioles love to be ruiners, and they did sell at the deadline, but like they'll still probably go into that last 6-game stretch separated a little bit, but still 6 games with the Yankees down the stretch. They have a chance to ruin the Yankees season. They're not going to throw that away. So the Yankees got to be on high alert. Even though they're playing that many teams under 500 going in the back end, they still have to be on their game. They have to be focused. And Judge is coming back. They've kind of weathered the storm a little bit since Judge has been injured. They've been playing like 500 ball without Aaron Judge in the lineup. So hopefully that means when Aaron Judge comes back on Tuesday or Wednesday, they start like win 2 games, lose 1, and start going like that instead of playing 500 baseball. I feel like we've seen this though,
that sometimes like they'll carry water when Judge is out, and then Judge will come back and Judge will go off, and everyone else decides to they're like, Judge is back, we don't have to play baseball anymore.
Well,
and you see the slump happen.
The new faces though could be the thing that changes that, because I mean traditionally Judge has come back and it's been pretty much the same team that he had when he left or when he got injured. And so by the time he's back, everyone's like, okay, yeah, Aaron Judge is back. We can all stop. But now there's 4 new position players that can be in this batting order that kind of felt like, I mean, Chris, you and I were talking about it before the show a little bit. I don't know if we actually talked directly about it, but we both mentioned that going into the game last night, it felt a little bit different. Something about the team's vibe and the energy around the game just felt different. It felt like they were going to win, and it felt like things were going to go well, and they didn't wind up going well. But the team still feels new. You know what I'm saying? It feels like Cashman finally did enough at the deadline where I feel like this is the team has turned over a new leaf post deadline.
It's the same way I felt in the series in Philly last year when Jazz had his kind of coming out party for the Yankees, where he had all those home runs, where it kind of just felt like new and sparkly, kind of to what you're saying. I got the vibe as midway through the game, as the game went along, because I think when the game started, I think like any first game after a big deadline, it just feels like a newer team. But I think the real excitement in what you're talking about came to me when the game just was so back and forth toward the end. Like they gave away the lead, and especially the Volpe home run to tie the game. I was just like, damn, this team is fun. Like this game felt different.
They don't quit. I'm
feels
telling
like
you,
a game
they
that
don't
they'll
quit.
show clips of on like 3 or 4 years from now and be like, that was a great game. Like it just felt like something that we were going to remember, and maybe we will, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I mean, so I think just to close out our thoughts here on the Yankees is it seems like there's a bit more, after that skid and going into the trade deadline, it feels like there's a bit more buzz around the team and a little bit more belief that they've potentially put themselves in a position.
There's more winning energy day after the deadline than there was day before the deadline. And I think that's the most important
part. What you
part.
want out of the deadline. You want to come out of the deadline if you're in, a contending position. You want to come out of the deadline feeling feeling like
something
you
changed.
have a better chance to win after the deadline than you did before.
Cutter's King was on one last night on Twitter.
He always is.
The Volpe home run happens. I'm literally checking I go on his account because I'm like, I wonder if he said anything about it. And he's like, when Volpe hits a home run, but then you get to watch a Doval collapse or whatever. And I'm like, this guy is in our dome. Like, this guy is in like the deepest parts of our dome.
He's legitimately one of my favorite Twitter accounts.
worst.
He's all over Yankees fans, and no matter what happens, he always seems to come out on top.
He's very.
He has mastered Twitter.
I just also couldn't imagine being a Yankee fan like I am, and then also like paying attention more to the Red Sox than the Yankees. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he pays attention more to the Yankees than he does the Red Sox. Like he's tweeting about the Yankees all the time. So that part I don't know, but he also had excitement last night. We're gonna go general MLB. Maybe we'll touch on it later. But Roman Anthony as well.
Let's not.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd rather not.
I was pandering to Joe in the back.
We don't need to talk about it.
Anyway.
Things we do need to talk about will come after this break, and that will be the New York Mets, what they've done since the deadline, how they're looking, leading the division right now. But that will be after this break, which will be the New York Mets, and who they may actually have the best bullpen in baseball now. You know, the Yankees talked about it a lot, but we'll hit on that a little bit after this break.